Alright, so yeah, we are doing the old classic of Izzet Pheonix laddering. So yeah, you know, the usual. I really need to get better at cantripping. I feel like that's probably responsible for like 30% of my losses, is just cantripping wrong. You know, scrying wrong, choosing what to discard wrong with artist talent. Stuff's hard. Alright. So we have one cantrip, one removal spell, and a treasure cruise. We'll keep this and probably lose because of it. But we just need to find like an artist's talent and then we're good to go, pretty much. Looks like a mirror. Yikes. 2 lands, not what I want to see. Alright. Opponent just land goes. I'm gonna land go. Unfortunately, I have nothing. Yeah, they have a cantrip into a cantrip. Meanwhile, I have nothing. I might end up channeling Sokinzan or something. So if they pass here, it's probably another Picklock Prankster. I'm gonna channel Sokinzan, just to let them know that my hand sucks. But we're gonna get our 2/1/1s in. So the downside of this is that if they need 3 spells, one of them can be a burn spell now. But I think I just need to have anything going on, like I can't just waste 4 mana. Alright, they play out a Picklock Prankster, which makes sense. I think I kill it though. And discard a spare treasure cruise. Both to fill my graveyard for my other treasure cruise. And so that I can get my attacks in. Yeah, that's fine. I'd rather than be doing that now instead of on their turn as one of their 3 spells. Alright, another opt end step means they probably don't have artist's talent or another good way of getting a Pheonix into the bin. Did they top or bottom? I think they topped. Alright, they are treasure cruising. That's very unfortunate. So my treasure cruise is going to be much worse than theirs. Because I'm going to have to pay a bunch of mana for it. So yeah, I mean, we kept a 4-lander hoping we would cantrip into gas, and our cantrip gave us 2 lands, so like, I don't know. If we had hit like anything off of that cantrip, we'd be in a much better spot. Alright, there's a Ledger Shredder, which I'm going to also Lightning Axe. And discard this Otawara. So they've already cast their second spell for the turn, so this isn't going to connive. It's just going to die. Alright, Artist Talent is great. I'm going to run that out. And they might like Spell Pierce this or something. They might also Spell Pierce the Treasure Cruise. I guess this exposes the Treasure Cruise to Spell Pierce, which isn't great. I kind of need this to work. Yeah. Okay, I shouldn't have played the Artist's Talent. I should have Treasure Cruised first. So now my future Treasure Cruises are off. I have 0 cards in hand. We're looking pretty bad here. We're going to need a miracle off the top. Alright, opponent has a Pheonix, which is probably game. Alright, sleight of hand. See if we can find anything. Oh god. That's terrible. So this can buy us a very small amount of time. And they have it to consider. So they're pretty much good to go for another Treasure Cruise this turn. And they have a Ledger Shredder to make everything consistent. Yep, they have their own Flood Maws. Yeah, I'm gonna concede here. The odds of me winning are 0%, I think. Alright, so they are a blue deck, so I can bring in Mystical Disputes. They don't have... They're the Ledger Shredder version, not the Artist Talent version, I think. So I think a Null is bad. Anger of the Gods is great. Crackling Drake is, like, fine, I guess. I mean, it's a 4 toughness creature, if nothing else. I do want, like, the Lightning Axes and stuff to deal with the Ledger Shredders. Floodmaw is kind of mid, but they might have Unlicensed Hearse in the sideboard, is something to consider. Fiery Impulse will fail to kill the Ledger Shredder a lot of the time. Torch the Tower can permanently kill a Pheonix, so that's staying in. And I think we just cut 2 Sleight of Hand since they're sorcery speed. And let's try to win. Alright, this is obviously much better. We have a bunch of cantrips. Only 1 Flood Maws interaction, but that's fine. This isn't like a super early interaction focused matchup. We just need to get our interaction eventually. Alright, and Picklock Prankster. They're Spell Piercing, which is fine for me. Especially if it means this Proft resolves. Nope, second Spell Pierce. Unfortunate. Alright, well with Proft in the bin, everything gets a lot harder. But they are down 2 spell pierces, which is relevant. So we're just going to keep on casting cantrips. Alright. They got back a treasure cruise, which is notable. So I would love a spell pierce or mystical dispute of my own here. Do not find one. I could main phase some cantrips to try to hit like an artist talent, but I think we're going to wait and fire them off in response to the treasure cruise. Picklock Prankster is not a spell pierce. Treasure Cruise is not a spell pierce, though it is great. Opt. Mystical Dispute is great, and they are through 2 spell pierces. So it's pretty likely, yes, that worked. And now they are... Their graveyard is all messed up. Alright, they do have artist talent of their own. That's not terribly surprising. We are going to successfully resolve a treasure cruise and see where we go from there. Consider. Don't need more lands. And also successfully resolve an artist's talent. And we can get a Pheonix going now. I think that's probably good. We need to fill our graveyard. So now we're tapped out. Also, they missed a land drop, so that's notable. I'm on 5, they're on 3. Alright, they have a third path Iconoclast, so they have the same sideboard stuff as I do, unsurprisingly. I'm not entirely sure why they brought it in, but it's probably fine. It's probably fine in the matchup, like just more threats. Alright, well, we're going to Picklock Prankster, get rid of a spare artist's talent. And we get a Pheonix into the bin. Grab a Lightning Axe. Our second spell will be Opt. And Floodmaw away, I guess. Don't need a tap land. Alright. Third spell is going to be Lightning Axe the Iconoclast. And we want to hold up Mystical Dispute Spell Pierce, so we're not going to Treasure Cruise this turn, even though it's very tempting to do so. We need to be able to stop like an Anger of the Gods, or whatever other permanent answers for these Phoenixes they might have. Alright, they're cantripping, as expected. And they continue to cantrip, as expected. Still no Pheonix in the bin for them so far. And they didn't choose to discard with the Consider, but they did surveil a Pheonix into the yard. So that's fun. And third spell for the turn. Alright, they found a land, unsurprisingly. Alright, Lightning Axe is fine, I think. I think I let that resolve just because I'm going to be treasure cruising and I can almost certainly get it back anyway. So I'm just going to keep my protection up. Yeah, so they hold the Pheonix back on blockers, which Does make a lot of sense. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to treasure cruise to refuel, and that's enough for them. Yeah, it's hard to beat, you know, your treasure cruise getting countered, your opponent's treasure cruise is resolving twice. That's rough to fight back from, for sure. Alright. This hand is great. It's got Artist Talent, it's got a cantrip. I think we have to lead on the tapped land so that we can get Artist Talent down on 2. Alright, they have a Ledger Shredder, which is fine for this turn. So that can become a 2/4, and then I can Lightning Axe it, and they can at most make it 5 toughness. So yeah. That'll be a 2/4, and I'll Lightning Axe it, and then bring back my Pheonix, hopefully. So this is 1 spell, this is 2 spells. I need a 3rd land and a 3rd spell. I have 3... I have like 5 looks. I have like 5 looks at 2 things, which is pretty good. Alright. There's that. They didn't even manage to flip the Ledger Shredder, which is great for me. I'm going to Lightning Axe it, put a Pheonix in the bin, put a backup Artist Talent in the bin, and there's another Consider. Lovely. Alright. So they Spell Pierce, which means the Ledger Shredder is unfortunately going to stick around for a bit. I might even want to Flood Maw it at some point to reset it. And they are getting to Connive. Alright, a land goes away. So here's the tricky part, right? So this can temporarily deal with the Ledger Shredder. This is necessary to put me ahead in the long term. These 2 are necessary now. I think I say no. And I will put away the 4th land. I could Flood Maw the Shredder now as my 3rd spell. And get the Pheonix back. So now if they want to replay the Shredder, they're not going to be able to get 3 spells for the turn, which is always relevant. They could replay the Shredder and then grow it. But I have Profs into Consider into probably Treasure Cruise, which is a lot of card draw. Alright, they're holding a blue mana up. If I had to guess, that's just for a cantrip to trigger the Iconoclast. It could be a Spell Pierce, but I'm going to play as if it isn't. Alright, cool. Prophet's Eidetic Memory is in play. That's huge. So we play a land, we play a Consider. This is drawing an additional card. Alright, now the question is, do we Treasure Cruise and go for max pressure? Or do we torch the tower, kill the Iconoclast, make sure they don't get out of hand? I think if we go for max pressure, like, we'll be in pretty good shape. I don't think the Iconoclast is going to be enough to race here. Now they could kill my Pheonix in response to the Prof's trigger. They did not, which means now they are going to need to bounce it. Yeah, so there's a Flood Maw, which is fine. It's actually quite good for them, because I'm not really going to be able to get... Alright. And they get their treasure cruise through, which is concerning. Alright, so I think the plan is Prankster the Pheonix into the yard, another Pheonix. That's fun. I'm just going to assume that Treasure Cruise is castable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is our second spell for the turn. And third Pheonix answers my question of, do I torch the third Path Iconoclast to get my Pheonixes back, or do I picklock Prankster to get Prof's counters? And I think with the third Pheonix, it becomes pretty easy. Actually, I mean, there's no reason to torch that and not Lightning Axe it. So Lightning Axe here leaves the torch available for the future in case I want to permanently exile a Pheonix of theirs. So unfortunately, the Prof trigger has to target before the Phoenixes show up. This is still 9 damage. They are still dead next turn if they don't have an answer. And I have a Spell Pierce. So Anger of the Gods doesn't do it. Anger of the Gods plus something does it. Ledger Shredder is kinda good. So that can get out of Torch the Tower range and be a blocker, which means Profs won't instantly kill them. Only have 2 cards in graveyard over there. I'm feeling very in control of this game. I think unless something horrible happens, we should be good to go here. And this is game 3. I mean, this is by no means an easy position. They have their own Profts. I think we just say no to that. Yep. Understandable. They pretty much needed that to get enough pressure. So yeah, that was a good match. We stumbled a bit game 1. And game 2 and 3 was just smooth sailing. The mirrors are quite fun. I like the mirror a lot. Alright, we are waiting on an opponent. While we do so, yeah, make sure to follow the usual reminders. Alright, get an opponent. This is 1 cantrip. 2 pieces of interaction. They're a Yorion deck. I'm going to keep this. I think Spell Pierce is probably going to be good against them. Alright, well, we're playing a blue land. I'm going to see what happens. Alright, so far nothing. Fiery Impulse, not what I'm looking for here. I guess we Steam Vents untapped, so we can opt into something if we need to. Basic Swamp, Basic Plains over there. And plot Pillage the Bog. Okay, I mean, you can plot a Pillage the Bog if you want. I'm going to cantrip into a cantrip, just so that I can get the graveyard full for this treasure cruise in the future. And I'm going to cantrip into another cantrip. And I'm going to cantrip into another cantrip. Lightning Axe will kill the Yorion and put a Pheonix in the bin, whereas the third Pheonix is just going to be stuck in my hand at the moment. Yep, so that, unfortunately, they have 0 mana tapped, so Spell Pierce is not going to work. Alright, let's see here. So I guess, so it's between Treasure Cruise for like 3 mana or just jamming a Pheonix. I think I just jam a Pheonix. The good old 4 mana Pheonix. It's a classic. So now we have a clock, they have to do something about it. We are also tapped out, which sucks. Yeah, so there's Bring to Light. They're going to get Hexproof from Monocolored. Well, that's awkward. Yeah, all of my spells are monocolored, so I don't know about that one, Chief. We're going to have to, I don't even know, overwhelm them with profs or something. Yeah, if this deck can resolve their Bring to Lights, then it's pretty good. Alright, they are attacking. That thing doesn't have Vigilance. So this attack is sort of... I mean, I might be able to erase them. Let's jumpstart now, too. Gross. Yep, you can pillage again. Still can't Spell Pierce it. So I think I lose this for not treasure cruising and leaving up a mana. If I had Spell Pierce that first Bring to Light, I think we're in good shape. I mean, not great shape, but like we're fine. All right. There's the Props Eidetic Memory. That is like the hugest thing possible. Alright, so now we need to draw a bunch of cards, which I think is urgent enough to exile the Pheonix. These Lightning Axes have no targets against their Niv Mizzet. Alright, we are just drawing very, very questionably here. But we have a 9-8, and having a 9-8 solves a lot of problems. So, can they beat a 9-8 plus a Spell Pierce and an Annul? Or an Annul, rather. Whichever is more relevant. So if they can kill this Pheonix, and they attack, then I need to be able... So if they kill this Pheonix and attack... Maelstrom Pulse unfortunately works. They just always have 3 mana up, which is very annoying. Alright, well, Artist Talent is the only spell I can cast here. So I'm going to have to get lucky with some cantrips. And discard some stuff. Right, it's one at a time. Odawara is technically not monocolored. I guess that's an out. Third Artist Talent is certainly not necessary. Now, though, do we just say I've drawn a bunch of cards, play out a 1/3 that's going to be huge? Alright, well, if their only blocker is that I can Odawara it, and this is technically colorless, I mean, they probably have something, right? They've got like 6 cards in hand, one of them's a Yorion. I can bounce, if they just play out Yorion, I can bounce Yorion with Floodmaw, Odawara the Niv Mizzet, and then attack for lethal. If we steal this game, that's going to be very impressive. Unmoored Ego. Okay. My win con is in play already. Also, main deck Unmoored Ego, of course. Just absolutely ludicrous. Why are you playing main deck Unmoored Ego? It's so rude against me specifically. Alright, can you kill this Picklock Prankster? No. We got there! Yeah, so that was just like Odawara is good. So we need just as much stuff against their Bringalites as possible. What is... Oh, there was a negate. So we just need to beat their Bringalites and have a fast clock. As far as creatures go, small creatures probably aren't really a thing. Lightning Axe is fine against Yorion, but it isn't really exciting. Annul doesn't have any targets. And I think we trim to Sleight of Hand pretty much every game on the draw. Or really sideboard games, I've always been trimming Sleight of Hand, which I don't know if it's correct, but I think it might be. So yeah, our opponent there, they had the main deck hate, and it wasn't good enough. So that's very fun. This is unkeepable. This is fine, I guess. We can Prankster to set up the Treasure Cruise and hold up Mystical Dispute for a good amount. Up the Beanstalk is in play. So I guess Annul is fine in the matchup, but I don't know if we can, like, I don't know if that's what we need to fight over. I think we need to be faster than them, not grind them out. Alright, I'm going to take an Opt, because I already have one Treasure Cruise. It's going to be very hard to cast. And I'm going to run out my 1/3, just to get the threat online as soon as possible. Third Path Iconoclast going to the graveyard is pretty bad. Alright, Leyline Binding as well. That means I'm going to bring the Annul back in. I should have known that. Like, it should have been obvious that they were playing all this stuff. Jeez, alright. Well, I cut my annuls because they played 0 enchantments game 1, and then they just played 3 enchantments in 2 turns. So that's just masterful sideboarding from me. And this game is probably over. Like, we're going to need to do prof stuff. And of course, they destroy my enchantment. Alright, well, in terms of draws that help us not be dead, that's certainly one of them. And we can hold up Mystical Dispute for anything now. And they are just passing. Do I hardcast Arclight Pheonix? I think so. I think I just want to have creatures attacking, and third path Iconos class can't afford to attack. Alright. Vanishing Verse. They just have infinite answers. Alright, yeah, this is... This is certainly a game. They've just had, like, perfect... Every single turn had an answer for what I did. And they only drew, like, 1 card off of Up the Beanstalk. And that's it. And they just naturally had everything else. We're going to counter the Bring to Light. So at least we have something. Well, we were going to channel a Sokenzan to get a better clock. And I think next turn, if we draw a land, we hardcast Treasure Cruise. Good old 8-mana Treasure Cruise. What a spell. Alright, this Bring to Light resolves, unfortunately, which means our fun is probably over. Yeah, so there's Niv Mizzet. Which, of course, draws a Vanishing Verse and a Sunfall. Or, I guess a Vanishing Verse and some other stuff, but... Pillage the Bog and Bring to Light. It's just completely excessive at this point. Like, I get it. Your entire deck is composed of hate cards for this matchup specifically. Yeah, we can't win here. Even Profs doesn't get it out of that one. Alright, Annul's back in. Niv Mizzet Reborn is going to be their pick. I think Lightning Axes are probably not good enough. And Brazen Borrower's in for more outs to Rest in Peace. They have a lot of non-blue spells. I think only 2 Mystical Disputes is probably going to have to be what we go with. Alright, so we stole game 1. We were very lucky. Game 2, they had the perfects. And game 3, we're mulliganing to 5. And keeping a not very good hand. I mean, we can't put 2 Phoenixes on the bottom and expect to win a game. So I think we have to go down Floodmaw. Yeah. This is how the cookie crumbles. Sometimes we need a second land. We didn't hit a second land, but we did hit a bunch of cantrips. We need a second land. Alright, we've lost. Just mulligan to 5 into 2 cantrips, no lands. Alright, there's the land right on time. I guess we take Artist Talent Ugh. This is just... like... if you were to sit down and think, what is the worst possible hand and top of deck that would still result in the hand being kept, I think this would be close. Like, and of course they just have leyline binding for everything. Alright. Well, we are going to Treasure Cruise for all the money in the world and hope to get extremely lucky. No, of course not. Oh, of course you have Dovin's Veto. The card that is bad in this matchup in every single instance, except for specifically when I'm casting Treasure Cruise. Of course you just have it on that turn. Third 4-drop. Alright. No, we're done there. That was just, like... what is the point of trying to improve your play when that happens all the time? Like, just play badly and get lucky instead of playing well and getting unlucky. Seems better to me. Alright, this hand is great. We've got a cantrip, we've got a Prophetic Memory, we've got a ton of interaction. We're going to need to draw some more stuff, but we always need to draw some more stuff. And we have an opt to find it, so Thoughtseize, probably going to take Props if I had to guess. It's by far the most key, yep. So now my hand sucks. Which is unfortunate. Right, well, Picklock Prankster is a good top deck. It means we can try to set up for a Treasure Cruise or something, if we can find one. Duress. I shouldn't have done this. This is a creature card, so they can't even take it. Well, I'm going to take a Spell Pierce. See if they're forced to take that instead of the opt. The good news is Mutavault is going to be very hard for them to take the Floodmaw. Why? Alright, well, I need to find a land, and I also need to have mana available for the Spell Pierce. Alright, land found. So I'm going to have to pass here, hold up my Spell Pierce and my burn spells so they don't get sneaky with Unholy NX. This is certainly a game of Magic. I do love being targeted by Thoughtseize effects. It's my favorite. Wait, they're blue-black. Well, I've officially drawn like half of the burn in my entire deck. So I'm going to need a cantrip at some point, or just them to fire up a Mutavault. Love that for me. I guess we will pass to end step, just in case they want to do something with their mana. Alright, so I have successfully Stone Rained them unless they counter this. Yep, Stone Rain has happened. Run out second Artist Talent to discard the Pheonix. And get a land, which will be untapped, and I'll just hold up all the interaction in the world. They do nothing. probably because they don't want to get spell pierced. They continue to do nothing. What do they have? Like, what does their deck even do? Are they just blue-black control, and this is how they want games to play out? Or are they, like, I mean, you see Mutavault and you think, like, Rakdos Demons, but they're obviously not in red. Alright, yeah, you can Fatal Push that. That's fine. Oh, baby. So this has a high likelihood of getting countered. I've seen nothing from them for quite a while. If they have counter spells, this is going to be the thing to counterspell. Alright, Fairy Mastermind is fine. I will kill that. And not Artist Talent in response because I don't want to give them a card. Alright, cool. And I think I'm fine with having both of these cards. Torch the Tower deals with their Mutavault. So I've had 2 spells this turn, so I'll cast a third to get my Pheonixes back. They took a Floodmaw earlier, which makes me think whatever they're doing, I might want to have a Floodmaw in hand just in case. And I'll grab an Annul just to round out things that I can answer. Pheonix comes back, so they are looking a lot like blue-black control. So do they have exile-based removal? This is tap target creature, put a stun counter on it. Okay, that's good. I can't really do anything about that. So are they control or are they like a flash tempo deck? I think they might be a flash tempo deck. So the Pheonix is going to be asleep for a while. And they can get rid of it permanently if they want. Which, that has Vigilance, so... Alright, they do want that, which I'm fine with. Just, like, 1-for-1ing me when I've cast a Treasure Cruise. And they haven't. Seems good. I think we just hardcast this Pheonix. Like, we could jump through the hoops of getting into the graveyard first. Yep. I'm fine with that if they want to burn a removal spell on a temporary creature. And then cool. Thoughtseize. That's fine. None of this is super exciting. They should take the Consider. They take the Torch instead so they can fire up the Mutavault. So that makes sense, but it means I can cantrip and just turn all of these bad cards into good cards. I can return... That's funny. Because it's a creature. I'll do that. I'll do that because it's funny. Mana is starting to get to the point where I think Spell Pierce is bad. Annul might still be good. And I'm just going to keep 2 cantrips. And check. I have 31 cards in deck. Not in any danger of milling anytime soon. I don't know. Probably... Yes, Treasure Cruise. That's great. 5, 6, and 7. And get through the Spire Bluff Canal. And another Sleight of Hand. And we will, third spell, consider another Pheonix into the bin. And keep this. I don't think I need a third Treasure Cruise. It seems like overkill that's just going to get me milled rather than anything else. And the Phoenixes come back. So opponent isn't dead next turn, but they're very close. Yeah. And they concede. So blue-black flash? Probably. Like, I don't know what they're doing. I don't think I saw any enchantments. I saw a lot of Thoughtseize effects. So Spell Pierce is probably fine. I'm going to bring in my anti-graveyard juke. And Brazen Borrowers, because that's also sort of part of the anti-graveyard juke. I honestly have no idea what they're up to. Like, are they a creature deck that just didn't draw many creatures? Are they a control deck that drew a lot of their creatures? I think, from what I saw, they're mostly small creatures, so I could cut Lightning Axe and trim a Sleight of Hand. We're up a game, so we can see what happens game 2, and that'll hopefully inform us for game 3 if it comes to that. Alright, 1 land, 2 cantrips on the play against a deck with Thoughtseize and Duress. You basically never want to mulligan unless it's absolutely catastrophic. So I'm going to keep this and just, I'm going to have a good amount of looks. And we consider. Alright, well, we find it. Lovely. And we're going to run out Artist's Talent, which should, if it resolves... Yes, so it resolves, which means now our cantrips are basically twice as good. So we should be clear on the land front from here on out. Alright, Unholy Annex. So they are blue-black demons. They are blue-black demons and just didn't get their Unholy Annex last time. Well, we're going to go cantripping. I guess we could take the Brazen Borrower. We are looking for... No, we have a third 1-mana cantrip. Second Artist Talent is unnecessary. Treasure Cruise is fantastic. And another Pheonix is great. So I don't think the Fiery Impulses are going to do much. We're just going to get back our Phoenixes and rumble. So them taking... So they can fire up Mutavault to not take damage from their Unholy Annex. But I think I'm fine if they do that, because that's just like another tap land, basically. That's like a mana, right? So if they want to basically set themselves behind on mana for the rest of the game, that's fine. They have Hive of the Eye Tyrant, which is technically graveyard hate, but it's kind of awful graveyard hate. I just need to have the Phoenix in play on their turn. And they take damage from the Annex, which seems like a mistake to me. I'm going to attack and hold up Interaction and Picklock Pranksters. Because, like, if their plan is fire up Mutavault, gain life, then I'm very happy for that to go very badly for them. If their plan is Ritual Chamber, gain life, I'm very happy to make that go very bad for them. Alright, I think the 2 life they lose there means they're going to die. I'm almost 100% certain I can stop them from... Yeah, this is fine. You're dead, though. Like you can exile my Pheonixes, and then you die to your Unholy Annex. Alright, opponent... I've no idea what to say. I mean, their deck was not... Their deck never did anything, and they punted and died, although, I mean, they might not have had any better options. So certainly not a top player playing a meta deck over there. We're gonna do another one. All right, waiting for opponent, and we find someone. This hand sucks. I mean, it's got no cantrips. This hand also has no cantrips, but at least it has creature removal, which is more likely to be relevant. I don't know. It still seems pretty bad, but we'll keep it, I guess. Opponent is playing blue. Alright, Artist Talent is wonderful off the top. Is this going to be another mirror? No, it's... What? What is this? Is this like a cycling deck or something? Alright, they are up to something nefarious. Create a token that's a copy of a creature you control, except has an additional counter on it. 2 mana, sacrifice that to draw 2 cards. Or... What? What? Okay. I guess we take those? So yeah, that opponent played a bunch of cards I never heard of and then conceded. So yeah, that happened. Alright, find another opponent. And what does this opponent have for us? Alright, this is fine. We've got 3 cantrips, we've got a removal spell. Alright, and this is almost certainly Rakdos Demons. So we're gonna see how that goes for us. They're probably gonna take the Picklock Prankster if I had to guess. It's the highest impact card. They might take the Fire Impulse. No, they take... Alright, maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe there's something they're missing, but I think Sleight of Hand is the worst cantrip in the deck, and Picklock Prankster is the best. Alright, Fear of Missing Out. That's fun. So that's an enchantment creature, so my random annuls are going to be better than expected. I don't need a Lightning Axe here, although they might have Shieldred. They probably do have Shieldred. Well, I'm going to sleight of hand here, grab a Pheonix, and just kill the FOMO, which I'm sure they are not surprised about. So there's the Unholy Annex, as expected. So hopefully they stumble around for a bit before they can get like a Mutavault into play. Nope, they have one. And they have a second Unholy Annex and the mana to power up the Mutavault, so we're cooked. Alright. Let's get Pheonixes going. Alright, well, we drew a second Pheonix there. Our Picklock Prankster bricked, which is pretty close to catastrophic. Alright, we're going to take Lightning Axe in case that deals with something later. I mean, our opponent has double Unholy Annex Mutavault, which means, like, racing is going to be nearly impossible. Yep, and they make a 6/6, which is conveniently bigger than a 5/5. This is gonna probably just be impossible, if I had to guess. So we can Flood Maw to get rid of their 6/6. And have double red mana up. And they can just unlock the other one, get a 6/6 again, and burn me for another 4. Alright, without Treasure Cruise, I think we're hopeless. So, yeah, so they're Rakdos, mid-range demon stuff. Bring in the anti-graveyard attack. Their graveyard hate, I think, is normally unlicensed Terse, so we bring in Prismari Command. And we need 7 cuts. I think we cut... I don't know, it's hard to say. Maybe these small damage burn spells are less good. Because they have some small stuff. Well, no, they also have Mutavaults. They have Mutavaults, which I want to be able to kill. Or at least threaten to kill. Spell Pierce hits pretty much only Unholy Annex in their deck. And that's like a super important thing to hit. But I think we can trim it and say a null is going to be enough. And I think in the past, I've trimmed some of the graveyard-based stuff just on the logic that they're going to have graveyard hate and it's less reliable. Alright, this is a one-lander. One land, one cantrip, I go first. I think on the play that's too risky. This is fine. It's not spectacular, but it is fine. And I'll throw back the Pheonix, and hopefully we'll find one later. Yep, they have a Thoughtseize, which is why you really don't want to mulligan, but... Alright, third path Iconoclast. Right on time. We're going to play that out. They probably have a kill spell. No, they have an unlicensed Terse. Yep. Well, I'm gonna attack for 2 and see if Iconoclast can race them all on its own. So the graveyard is not going to be great this game. They're looking just a Fable. That is fine. We will Flood Maw the token, which we'll do immediately to get a soldier. And then we will consider to get another soldier. What's the graveyard looking like? Awful. It's not going to get better. And finally we will opt, get a soldier. And I think one Fiery Impulse should be good enough. Otawara feels like a land. I'm pretty sure Otawara is a land, unless I draw another one, in which case it might be a spell. I guess second Fiery Impulse would have been nice because, as it is, the Fable and between the Fable and the Mutavault, I have two power creatures that I want to kill. Opponent is thinking. I imagine what they're thinking is like, do they unlicense Hearse now to make a Treasure Cruise less likely, or do they hold it up to catch a Pheonix? And they probably doesn't matter in this instance. Alright. I am going to attack with my guys and leave up mana. So I would love to Fiery Impulse a Mutavault that's fired up. They throw a Sheoldred back, which seems good for me. Unless that means they already have a Sheoldred, which would be very bad for me. Alright. Fatal Push. So I will consider in response to get another token. And I think I take another one. And we leave it at that. Alright, so we could swing in for 5, we could swing in for 8. I think we swing in for 5 here and play out the new Iconoclast. So I don't actually have blue mana. I don't have red mana because my only red mana is the one Spire Bluff Canal. So I guess I'll also play out the Picklock Prankster just to have every little bit of additional help. So they are dead. They are dead if they have nothing. They are dead if they have nothing. And it's not super trivial. Like, they're dead because I have a lot of small creatures, so 2 blockers doesn't cut it because I can Fiery Impulse 1. So if they fire the Hearse up in response, that's pretty smart. But the reflection is gone. And now we opt, looking for a, what's it called? Looking for a Flood Maw. We could put a Pheonix in the bin, actually. I think that works, right? Yeah, so Pheonix comes back, and that's the additional attacker. And if they tap the Hearse to get rid of it, then they die anyway. Alright, we got there. So I think I'm happy with sideboarding. And we're going to try to win one on the draw, which seems harder. Alright. Well, we have Artist Talent and we have Interaction. Grafdigger's Cage. So my Phoenixes aren't coming back. Other than that, we're good to Treasure Cruise, for example. And I can also Flood Maw that on a crucial turn to get a Phoenix back. So it's really not that big of a deal. I have the Flood Maw in my hand. Alright, Mutavault and Unlicensed her, so that is the bigger problem. But Prismari Command shows up to say no problem. I think we pass. So on the turn where so I think we blow up the Unlicensed Terse like now. And then on a future turn, we do the whole Phoenix thing. Okay. That's actually... It's kind of bad, but it's not super bad. So I consider... I toss a land, I guess, and Treasure Cruise, and I Picklock Prankster, so I would love to hit another burn spell to answer this Shieldred. And it's still on the stack, so I can still get rid of that Consider. I'll take an Annul, I guess. I already have a Prismari Command, and they're super expensive. So now I actually need to draw a land. I got rid of my 4th land, which is necessary. So now if I draw a land, I can Prismari Command, deal with the Hearse, and deal 2 damage to the Shieldred, then Fiery Impulse the Shieldred. Alright, and they're activating it now, which is certainly a mistake. Alright, we ended up drawing the Fiery Impulse. So if we Prismari Command here, we take a lot of damage off the Shieldred. Alright, let's go for it anyway. So now we can discard the Pheonix and we'll take 2 from the Shieldred. And we missed, which does unfortunately mean we're going to have to kill the Shieldred in our untap with double Fiery Impulse, and then Flood Maw the Grafdigger's Cage to get the Phoenix back. So we were really hoping to hit a land there. I shouldn't have been to the land that I did, but it's not the end of the world. So I can do that. Decline, don't want to take damage. Do that. Pay 1. Thank you, Shivan Reef. Very cool. And alright, this has to be gifted. So now we can toss a backup artist's talent. There's a tap land or a real land. Alright, so now we have a null to catch the Grafdigger's Cage on the second try. Can we even afford to attack here? I don't think we can. I think, unfortunately, it didn't matter. Pheonix was dying anyway. So now we annul the Grafdigger's Cage and try to find anything. We're definitely not out of this game. We're in a decent spot. I'd say we're like probably 35% chance to win. Like, we're behind, but we're definitely not in a terrible spot. Okay, now we're in a terrible spot. Now I think we've just lost. So now the Pheonix is gone permanently. The graveyard is empty. And they have a fear of missing out with Delirium. Which, yeah, and we draw nothing. We are taking 5 next turn. I think we hold on to the Steam Vents to cycle it, but now we're like 10% to win the game. Oh wait, with the Delirium trigger, I think we're either dead or nearly dead. Alright, well, we can make that block, stay alive. We're at 2 and they have 4. Alright. Well, let's pick Lock Prankster. I think we're dead here anyway. I think they fire at the Metavault, and they have two power attackers. Yeah, so that's not enough, so I will concede. What is it with these people and playing Grafdigger's Cage and Unlicensed Hearse and Go Blank? Like, you do not need 3 separate graveyard hate cards. I promise you. Like, for the 1 in 10 matches where you run into Pheonix, just Unlicensed Hearse is good enough most of the time. Waiting on an opponent while we are waiting. Make sure to follow. Would be much appreciated. Alright, opponent has been found. And, alright. So the first hand was an easy mulligan. It was only red mana, only blue cantrips. This hand is fine. I think we toss the Floodmaw and just try to do our thing. Llanowar Elves. Opponent is some sort of green-white deck, I guess. Archon of Emeria, of course. Who doesn't love playing Archon of Emeria against Izzet Pheonix specifically? Bro, why Archon of Emeria? Please. Alright. I should have played an island there. I obviously should have played an island there. It's not a huge deal, but it's pretty bad. Right, now I can play a tap land and be fine about it. And Picklock Prankster. Our opponent is attacking for 3. And Thalia, yep, of course. Just screw me in particular, I guess. I guess we run out an Arclight Pheonix on defense, so we can hopefully either hold back the Archon or trade with it. No, they have a Skyclave Apparition. Because of course they do. Yeah, I need to find a control deck. This whole thing of like playing decks that have answers to them when everyone in the entire format is playing that specific answer is just miserable. Alright, I need a removal spell for Thalia. I guess I can get my Pheonix back. 5, 6, 7. So, okay, I failed to select the Sokenzan. Alright, so we get the Fiery Impulse. I think we still have to stay on blocks to try to trade with the Skyclave Apparition. Nope, they have another one, of course. Just... why? Why do you need more than one of this effect? Alright, Spell Pierce is absolute no-no. Fiery Impulse to Thalia. And I guess we consider... Yep, and we're dead because we didn't find a Pheonix on that consider. Just every single card in their main deck is a hate piece against me specifically. Like a normal creature deck, their deck would be bad against. But they aren't playing a normal creature deck, they're playing the anti-Izzet Pheonix deck for some unknowable reason. Alright, I mean, the graveyard is probably not the axis they're fighting on. So Picklock Prankster might even be fine. I don't know. I think I need to cut it anyway. It's just like, it's a 2-mana cantrip, which means it's going to be a 3-mana cantrip a lot of the time because they have Thalia as their companion, seemingly. Okay. 3 cantrips and a removal spell. I mean, we gotta keep this, remove their Archon or their Thalia, and then see where we go from there. Cantrip into the Illusion of Choice. And they have an Elvish Mystic. I'm gonna play a tap land while I have the chance. I don't think casting 2 cantrips at end step is super critical here. Anointed Peacekeeper. Classic. I guess we'll opt. Take a Pheonix. Maybe they mess up and choose Pheonix. So if I had shocked, I could have shocked the Peacekeeper. Well, no, because this is like an as it enters thing, which is bizarre. Alright. So we have the Fiery Impulse. Or, we have the Anger of the Gods. I don't think I use it now. I think for the time being, I'm just going to use all of my mana to get rid of the Peacekeeper, force them to commit more to the board, and get that with Anger. Yeah, so they have Rest in Peace, because of course their deck, which is entirely composed of main deck sideboard cards for this matchup, obviously what it needs is more sideboard cards for this matchup. Alright. Elite Spellbinder. If I hit a land, then that won't mess with my Anger of the Gods, otherwise it will. And either way, I'm going to try to go ham off of Iconoclast. Don't need a second one though. And just hopefully Iconoclast wins me this game. That's a tap land. Alright. We're going to attack with the 1/1s. Just get some points of damage in. The Iconoclast is too important to stay alive. Yep, they have Thalia. They have Spellbinder attack. So I could Pheonix. I could Floodmaw the Thalia to get better attacks and tempo them a lot. And if I'm going to be doing that, I may as well level up Artist Talent to counteract the Thalia. So you can go away. I think I throw back one of the Phoenixes here. And attack with the 1/1s, but unfortunately they have blockers for the Iconoclast itself, which I have to imagine they would take that trade any day. Although they are missing land drops. Alright, they have Skyclave Apparition anyway. And they take the Artist's Talent. I'm fine with that, I think. So now I can kill the Skyclave Apparition. Get a 2/2, play an Arclight Phoenix, and attack for a bunch. Yeah, I could cast this Anger of the Gods, but I'm ahead. Alright, they hit their third land drop, which means that now they have access to 4 mana. For another Skyclave Apparition, I don't think that's enough. Certainly not with Lightning Axe. I guess I will target the Spellbinder, kill a thing, attack with a bunch, and somehow we win these. Good old Third Path Iconoclast. What a card. Yeah, I think with the knowledge of Rest in Peace, I even go down Treasure Cruises and bring in Annuls and Brazen Borrowers to try to fight just a little bit more on that axis instead. Like, Graveyard is probably just never happening in this matchup. There are too many things that have to happen, like Archon and Thalia and Rest in Peace all have to be dealt with for that to plausibly get through. Alright, we have an Anger, we have cantrips. We're going to play an untapped blue land and pass with a null and consider up. We do do not need a second Artist's Talent. Fiery Impulse is pretty good. I'm going to play a land and Sleight of Hand. And grab a 4th land because our stuff is going to be taxed like crazy. We need to hit land drops. So they're probably going to name Anger with this if I had to guess. Well, it doesn't really... Yeah, I'm just going to Fiery Impulse that instead. So that doesn't work for them. Play an untapped land and an Artist's Talent, and now I have an all-up. Alright, Flood Maw is a great pickup. I think we shock in the land and level up Artist's Talent. And this is going to be Collected Company, I assume. Yep. So I can Brazen Borrower something. I mean, it doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, I'm not going to. They can have their Voice of Resurgence and Eidolon of Rhetoric. And their Anointed Peacekeeper. Plan is to sweep this all away. And they name Into the Flood Maw for some reason. I don't know why they would name that and not Anger of the Gods, which is clearly the better card. Alright, well... I think we level up Artist's Talent so that Anger of the Gods sweeps away more stuff. And then we play a tap land and pass. Selfless Spirit. So I'm going to have to bounce that. I'm going to have to bounce that right now. Goodbye. And I think we pass through the land. So that is a 4/4. And Anger of the Gods will kill all of their board. So that's one spell. I guess we can go looking for I'll take a Crackling Drake. That seems great. And then I'm going to pass and Brazen Borrower end step if they don't do anything. Okay, Llanowar Elves is fine. Skyclave Apparition is fine. Slightly annoying, but fine. Alright. And Flash and Brazen Borrower. And play a Crackling Drake. Brazen Borrower cannot block ground creatures, so it is just going to attack. And hopefully this will help get the show on the road. That's an enchantment creature, which means it gets annulled. Very convenient. And Selfless Spirit is flying. I think we take that. That seems great for just like... Let's pump up the Drake a bunch. And maybe even... Wait, I should have played this Third Path Iconoclast first. I'm missing a 1/1 because of it. Hopefully not a huge deal. Alright, if I hit a third spell here... Nope, I don't. So the Phoenixes don't come back, but opponent has had enough. Yeah, they're in sort of a nightmare scenario there. Alright, maybe their deck maybe what their deck is needing actually is more hate pieces for my deck. Like they just didn't draw them. Alright. Our ICR is a Planeswalker. That's fun. I don't think we use it for... I don't think that Planeswalker is used in anything that I know of, but that's fun anyway. Alright, let's see Mr. Mogg. Well, we've got 3 cantrips and a treasure cruise, and an annul for when they inevitably do Yorion stuff. They're not going to do anything interesting on turn 1. I would love to take an Artist Talent. That is exactly what this hand was missing. So on turn 2, they could play Up the Beanstalk, but I think that's fine. Alright, they don't play an Up the Beanstalk. Well, let's... Picklock Prankster seems too slow. I guess we take 3rd land. That seems important. And we're going to opt. Get rid of another Picklock Prankster. And what I'm looking for is a Pheonix. I'm looking for something in all of this to be a Pheonix so that I can... I guess I'll take Spell Pierce. So we've unfortunately bricked on the Pheonix this turn. We have a Treasure Cruise. An opponent concedes. Did they miss land drops? Are they gone for good? So they're the Beans Bring to Light deck. Almost certainly. Which means we have a lot of stuff to bring in. And a lot of stuff to bring out. I think Lightning Axe is not the plan. I think the plan is to disrupt them before they get in play, not afterwards. And then we trim a sleight of hand, and we go with this. I don't know why they conceded there. Possibly just tilt from missing a land drop or something similar. Alright, we're going to keep this. We got 2 Considers and a Prankster. Artist Talent coming off the top again. Fantastic. Opponent is playing the tap land mana base, which I certainly respect. Cracking Fabled Passage for an island, which is fine by me. Silent Caryatid. Well, let's get a 3rd Path Iconoclast into play. And then next turn we will get Pheonix going and hopefully also Iconoclast. They are just doing all of the setup in the world. I'm going to cast 1 Consider now. There's no real chance of bricking next turn. And I will, I guess, take the 3rd land, or 4th land rather. I can count. So now we start casting spells. I would love some way of dealing with that 2/2 so that I can attack better. I would love some way of dealing with that 2/2 so that I can attack better. Please give me a Floodmaw, yes. Fantastic. Ooh, Proph's Eidetic Memory. I gotta go with Proph's Eidetic Memory here. It's just so good. Alright, it's so good they have to Mystical Dispute it, which, you know, they gotta Mystical Dispute something. But wow, I'm dumb. I wasn't paying attention. I thought, oh, let's not attack with the Iconoclast so that it doesn't trade with the Goblin Shaman. Let's just attack with the 1/1s. But there's only 1/1/1, so yikes. Not a huge deal. We're going to pop off this turn. And I think we go no blocks. Just have all of the damage possible. That Mystic Dispute was super unfortunate. It really threw off, you know. I would be so far ahead if that Props had landed. Now it's still a bit dicey. So they have 6 mana. And they have a Bring to Light. Alright, please get something that I can just Flood Maw out of the way. That would be cool. They are thinking. They are thinking. And they got a Deadly Cover-Up. And there is a Pheonix in the yard. So yeah, if I'd had the Props Eidetic Memory, we'd still be fine here. As it is, though, I think we're doomed. We're going to play it out. But yeah, that card kind of wrecks us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And Treasure Cruise. Let's see if we can find anything. Where's the... Alright, the Drake is still in. I think the Drake is important enough that I want to specifically not mill it. Which means Picklock Prankster is a no-go. Alright, another Iconoclast is great. I'm going to run that out and call it a day. And hopefully this one will go the distance where the first one did not. Although, yeah, of course it can't be countered. Why would you play a card that could be countered? So I'm just going to make a 1/1. And get rid of an Opt. And get rid of Sleight of Hand. Alright, well, let's Treasure Cruise. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And surely this one will find something useful. Flood Maw is not useful. All this stuff is not useful. We are still, like, our only out is Drake, plus they can't deal with it. Our only out is Drake, plus they are unable to deal with it, so we're going to leave all of this interaction in hand. And we're just going to get through as much of the deck as possible. Try to find that Drake. Alright, still no Drake. I think at this point we pass and we discard some lands and try to not die this turn. Pillage the Bog. I think a tutor is too good. I think I need to make them not have a tutor. Alright, well, I think we are about to brick on all of our attempts to look at a Drake. Bring that to hand. I guess I will I guess we're in the make a tapped... You can make a tapped fish. I get to look at a card. Alright. Spire Bluff Canal. Yes, we can attack for 1, but feeling like this game is over. The Drake is just comedically far into the deck. I can Mystic Dispute the Yorion to get another look. Alright. We are down to 10 cards in library with no sign of the Crackling Drake, which means it's got to be right around the corner. Yes, alright. Win con established. Can you kill the Drake? Can you kill the Drake through 3 removal through 3 counter spells? 2 of which are spell pierces. Alright, Bring the Light. We can Mystic Dispute that. And I think we should be good. Unless they have... No, with the mana colors they have open, I think we've won. Alright, what's your last card? No blocks. Imagine if I mean, it doesn't matter. I have more counter spells, but attack you for 22. Oh, Crackling Drake, how I love you. Hello, how's it going? It is going great. We just completely robbed a Yorion Bring to Light player. They had, like, they deadly cover-upped our Pheonixes. They countered our, Prophytic Memory. They killed both of our, Third Path Iconoclasts. And then we just played a 20 power Crackling Drake and attacked them, and then they died. So... You saw the spoiler cards from Ether Grip? I saw some of them. I saw the weird equipment I saw the equipment Planeswalker, and I saw I saw the 5 mana 8/8 that cycles with upside, and I haven't looked too much at the spoilers so far, but I've seen a couple. The ones I've seen are kind of wild though. Alright, so we have basically just all cantrips, which is what this deck looks like a lot of the time. We're going to sleight of hand on one, take a consider, 2 mana 5/3 with haste. Please say it's a 2 mana 5/3 with haste and some crippling downside. But because yeah, that sounds atrocious. 2 mana 5/3 haste. Thanks, Wizards of the Coast. Love that. I mean, even if the downside is pretty bad, that's a lot. Alright. Alright, let me look this up. 2 mana 5/3 haste. I'm just gonna Google that. Alright. Alright, so Fiery Impulse is pretty good. I would love to consider into Artist's Talent. Alright, we get a null. That's fine. I think we're going to kill their blade and then hold up a null. Oh, it's a Hazoret? That makes sense. Hazoret cards tend to be super aggressive. Hazoret. Godseeker. Alright. We are going to opt at end step. Yeah, so we just need to find, like... We need to find an artist talent in order to get, like, anything happening here. Fairy Mastermind. I think I kill that immediately. Get rid of Floodmaw, which is probably bad against their flash deck. Alright, there's the artist talent. Wonderful. Alright. We have 12 cards in graveyard. One of them is a Pheonix. We've cast 2 spells this turn, so why not a third? 5, 6, 7. Alright. Oh, it's indestructible too. Of course it's indestructible. Yeah, that's... Increases once on each of your turns when an opponent loses life. Alright, so at least... Unless there's some funky stuff elsewhere, at least it's not gonna be... It's not gonna be a 2-mana 5/3 haste on turn 2. But that's still kind of messed up. Especially with indestructible. Alright. We have 6 cards. We have 6 cards in graveyard, which means we can't Treasure Cruise and keep the Pheonix. Yeah, turn 4... I mean, a turn 4 5/3 haster with indestructible is still kind of terrifying. Like, that's still a lot, especially if you're doing something else with your other 2 mana. Like, that's still crazy. Alright, we sleight of hand. I think we get rid of Otawara. Grab a Lightning Axe as interaction. So that's 1 spell for the turn. This is going to be the second. And we're just going to need to find a third somewhere. Alright. Spell Pierce is probably the least good. They probably have mostly creatures. They're a flash deck. Alright, third spell for turn. Just an opt. I don't need all of these Treasure Cruises. Alright. I can't get this Pheonix into the bin unless I pay 2 mana for a Treasure Cruise. And then that lets me discard this Pheonix and then get both of them back and still have interaction up. Prophesied Memory is great. That means I probably win the game next turn. Probably. Alright, end turn. I'm going to discard the Spirebluff Canal, or... Alright, Enduring Curiosity is going to land this time, but I'm going to immediately Lightning Axe it, just to use my cards in hand while I have the chance. And I think I can get through another Culloden Triumph Caster. Alright, so it's a 2 mana, 2/3. Mounts and vehicles you control have haste. Whenever a mount you control enters, it becomes saddled until end of turn. Whenever a vehicle you control enters, it becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. Yeah, I mean, it's a 2 mana 2/3, right? So I think you'd want it to be a 2 mana 3/2 for your red-white aggressive stuff. I mean, this is a vehicle set. So I have to imagine that red-white aggressive vehicles is going to be a thing. And giving all of your red-white aggressive vehicles haste seems great. So that's going to be my guess, but yeah, it's hard to tell. And it's like fine, like 2/3 for 2 is fine. And assuming there's an aggressive vehicles deck, I'm going to say that that card is going to be in it, and probably one of the better cards in it. Alright, opponent is dead here. Put the counters on the prankster. And they say oops and concede. Alright, cool. Alright, so let's see. They are blue-black flash. Mystical Dispute seems good. Annul seems like fine. Brazen Borrower might be good enough to compete at their flash game. They're mostly going to be creatures. Spell Pierce seems bad. Removal spells always seem good. It's a creature deck. I think I just cut Sorcery Speed, Interaction, and Floodmaw. Because, like, they're a flash deck, so a lot of the times I'll Floodmaw something and they can just instantly recast it. Yeah. So yeah, while we're waiting for opponent to sideboard, if you're enjoying, make sure to follow. It helps me out a lot. Super cool. So yeah, waiting for opponent to sideboard. Let's see, what other cool spoilers are there? Birthing Pod 2.0. So that's the plan. They're not going to unban it in Modern, but they're just going to print another one. Alright, this seems pretty bad. The mana's awkward, there are no cantrips. This is kind of bad, but it has 3 cantrips and a treasure cruise and an artist talent, so like how bad can it really be? I think we toss back one of the opts. Alright. Annul. Repurposing Bay. Bay. Alright. So they have played into my trap card. I'm just going to counter their 3/1. And run out Artist's Talent. Alright, so it's 3 mana, artifact, 2 mana. So, okay, so it's Birthing Pod for artifacts. So that's interesting. Birthing Pod for artifacts. probably... I don't know. It seems like someone's gonna try it, and it's gonna be like really cool looking, and then they're going to like play a bunch of games with it, and it's just not gonna be competitive. That's my vibe. Is that we're gonna get some crazy videos from, you know, MtG Goldfish and stuff, like, oh, repurposing bay, look how crazy stuff I'm doing, and then it's gonna be bad and no one's gonna play it. I mean, it certainly seems cool. Alright, and we'll grab a Fiery Impulse, so just to give them some options to think about. Alright, they take one of the opts, and they're just gonna hit me for 2. Alright, Treasure Cruise is fantastic. I have 2 Pheonixes in there, which means I can currently Treasure Cruise 8, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I think we keep both of these cards. Alright, so that's only 1 spell for the turn. This is the 2nd spell for the turn. Put a 3rd Pheonix in the yard. And Sleight of Hand. Alright, well, let's see if we can get anything here. I guess we'll take the Annul, but we can't cast it currently, but we are getting 3 Pheonixes back. Hopefully, if 3 Pheonixes isn't good enough, I don't want to know what is good enough. You can just get your Soul Ring with it, yeah. I mean, that's definitely, like, good. I wouldn't call 5 mana plus sacrifice an artifact for a Soul Ring like the ideal situation, but it's definitely going to happen a lot. Yeah. No, I mean, it's like, it's the level of good where you don't want to be doing it. Like, you aren't going to put Repurposing Bay into your deck just to grab your Soul Ring. But I think probably like a good quarter of the games you play, you are probably just going to grab your Soul Ring. Like, just so, like, the random backup plan, you need ramp, you have a random Ornithopter or something, and then that's how that happens. Alright, and they're firing up their Mutavault again, and they are at 2. Alright, well, we're just gonna put a stop to that. So they were up to some absolute nonsense, but alright. That's another win. So, what else? What other crazy stuff are you getting with Repurposing Bay? I mean, what, you can turn like a Thought Monitor into like a 9-drop or something. You can turn a Thought Monitor into an 8-drop artifact, so that could be a thing. What 8-drop artifacts are there that you want to be getting? Right, Thought Monitor, 7 mana, I think. Alright. Opponent is black-red. Helm of the Host is fun. Yeah. That could be exciting. Is there any, like, just 8 mana, like, big artifact creature that just has 1,000,000,000 power? Alright, you can pick Lock Prankster. I think 4th land is going to be okay. I think another Picklock Prankster just as more cantrip fodder. Prophylatic Memory is great. I'm going to play that. And throw away a Picklock Prankster, I guess. Yeah, so now we get an untapped land, which means we can play this and get counters on it. So now I have a 3/5, which is pretty fine. Alright, they do get their Unholy Annex into play, which sucks for me. And they even have the Fatal Push, but no Mutavault. And now it's time to look for a Pheonix. A null right on time. There's the Pheonix. So now I need a 3rd spell. Portal to Phyrexia. Yeah, that's gonna be the thing. That's 8 mana. Yeah. There's gonna be some disgusting modern deck that's like Thought Monitor, Portal to Phyrexia. 9. Well, this is mana value to 1+, so Thought Monitor is 7, right? Thought Monitor. Oh, Invoke Despair? That's rude. Enchantment will be, I think, Artist's Talent. Profs is just too high upside. Yeah, so Thought Monitor is 7 mana, but you can cast it for like 2. So yeah, we're trying to cook here. There's got to be some giant. Yeah, let me see if I can do a gatherer search for mana value equal to 8 and type artifact. Alright. So we have hit a whole lot of nothing here in this game that we are playing. We can at least kill their demon. Avacyn's Memorial, no, that's not good. Blaster Hulk? No, that's an energy thing. Bosch Iron Golem? Oh, you can get Cityscape Leveler. It's probably going to be Cityscape Leveler, if I had to guess. That's a good card. Although, I guess it would need to be able to attack. Gate Colossus, Graz, Maelstrom Colossus. Their whole... Oh, Parhelion 2 is going to be the... Oh god. Greasefang is going to make a comeback, isn't it? Parhelion 2 is 8 mana. So yeah, I'm going to say it's going to be Parhelion 2. And then get your... You're going to Thought Monitor, you're going to Parhelion 2, and all of your opponents are going to be very sad. Well, we have a giant picklock prankster. And a Pheonix coming back. Alright, so they're going to almost certainly die next turn if they don't have answers. Oh, Sundering Titan is 8. That's an option. So it's going to be Parhelion or Sundering Titan. There's definitely good 8 drops to get off of your Thought Monitor, which isn't like super fast. So it's going to be like, I mean, you're going to get your Thought Monitor in on like turn 2-ish, maybe turn 2 or 3, hopefully, if you're at like baubles and stuff. So I guess turn 4. Turn 4, 8 drop is fine, but not exciting. I think... yeah, I don't know. The Thought Monitor plan seems a bit ambitious. That's only level 1, so I can't level this up. How much mana do I have? 7? So I could actually level this up twice and kill the Goblin Shaman. Boom, got him. And that's that. And how did I not get a Pheonix back? Did they get rid of my... I've only been half paying attention. They torched it, I think. I've been too busy cooking up Thought Monitor, birthing pod shenanigans. Alright. I think that means I'm just dead. Yep. Alright. So this is Rakdos mid-range demon stuff. A null is good. They have a lot of smallish creatures. And a lot of time their graveyard is artifact based. So I'm going to say cut the Picklock Pranksters because the graveyard isn't as reliable. Cut some Spell Pierces because they do have a lot of creatures. Cut some Sleight of Hands because, I don't know, I feel like cutting Sleight of Hands is always kind of safe. Alright, let's go into another game. Just waiting on our opponent to finish sideboarding. Probably bringing in 20,000 different pieces of graveyard hate. Yeah. Earlier I ran into I think it was a Rakdos Demons deck that was running Grafdigger's Cage and Unlicensed Hearse and Go Blank. Like, do you really need that much sideboard graveyard hate? Surely there are other matchups. But nope, I got trashed, as you might expect. I'll play Basic Island on one. Yep, and they can Duress. And they're probably going to take the Treasure Cruise, if I had to guess. Although they might take the opt. Nope, they took the treasure cruise. Okay, I don't think I need a land here. Hit one anyway. Well, I'm going to play the Shivan Reef and then pass. Alright, well, we hit a sleight of hand, which is pretty good. Yes, we'll cast that first thing. Grab a consider, and I think we just play our 1/3. Just have something happening on our board. Now, obviously, this probably Hidetsugu consumes all. Chapter 2, exile all graveyards. Alright, fair enough. Alright, I could shock this in, play Arclight Pheonix, and attack for 4 this turn, or I could play it tapped and wait it out. I think the 4 damage is just too much to pass up on. So if they can kill the Pheonix in response to that, which they can't, then I would have been in a lot of trouble. Otherwise, pretty good to go. Whenever that... And Anger of the Gods. Of course, they're a deck with lots of 2 and 3 power creatures. 2 and 3 toughness creatures, just run Anger of the Gods just in case. Well... And then this transforms into a 3/3 that gets bigger whenever it deals damage. So I can just Fiery Impulse that. Alright. Mutavault, I will absolutely take the opportunity to blow up their land. Yeah, Mutavault seems especially terrible against my deck. Like, the number of Mutavaults I have killed is very high. And they have another one. Well, I'm going to play out another Pheonix. And attack. And this is whenever it deals damage, so I'm fine to wait. See if they do something else scary. Alright. They're just going to go straight to attacks, and I will kill it. Another Anger. It's another Pheonix down. That's what, 2 Phoenixes out of the way. Nothing interesting in the graveyard. And they played an Urborg. So at least we have Artist Talent leveled up, which will make these Fire Impulses a bit better, or they'll just duress me. Alright, we need something good off the top. Like a Treasure Cruise would be great. Consider into something would be great. Lightning Axe is not great. A Null is also not great. Well, we'll level up the Artist Talent again. And still waiting for a good draw. I'm pretty sure I brought in my Iconoclasts. I should be seeing those. They didn't attack the Mutavault this time. I will counter another Fable. That's just too much value. So the other thought is maybe hold the Annul for discarding purposes. I'm going to hold this land so that if I draw a castable spell, I can get through this with Artist Talent. I would love to cycle a Pathway. Now it looks like they are firing up the Mutavault. Go blank, of course. Again, why do you need Hidetsugu Consumes All, and 2 Anger of the Gods, and a go blank? Like, just pick one good graveyard hate and stick with it. Why do you need 15 different things? Well, we're gonna die here pretty shortly. Yep. We drew another land. So we can cast this Artist's Talent to cycle the land. And maybe find something. Please let me draw anything. I guess. No, Opt is not probably good enough. Alright, Prismatic Command doesn't save me, right? So I can deal 2 damage to something. And just die. Yep. Brutal. See. Yeah, I mean, like, I run into all of these decks which are packing a huge amount of graveyard hate. And, like, why? There's, like, 2 graveyard decks in the format. It, like, you should be, like, having hate for, like, the Twiddlestorm deck and the Rakdos midrange deck, to the extent that you can hate on a midrange deck. But, like, you don't need to dedicate, like, 7 or 8 cards of your sideboard to graveyard hate. There just isn't that much. Alright. Alright, Monastery Swift Spear. This is going to be one of these matchups. So I guess we play a blue land so that we can consider on 1 and try to find a removal spell. Secondary Monastery Swift Spear. And a Play with Fire. And I'm going to die super fast. By the way, another non-graveyard deck that can have sideboard slots dedicated to it and is super common, and yet everyone is playing Go Blanks and Hidetsugu Consumes All. Alright, show me a burn spell. Nope, no burn spells. Well, we're going to play a tap land and draw the burn spell. Third Monastery Swift Spear. Let me guess, you have another, like, Lightning Helix. Great. Lovely. So now I'm at 4. I still have no removal. And we died. Mono red. Bring in Anger, bring in the other Fiery Impulse. I guess this could be a blocker, but no. Cut Spell Pierce, cut Annul. And run it back. I need more. I need like 2 or 3 more sideboard cards for the red aggressive decks. Like anything that can gain life or kill small creatures. Alright, we're keeping another cantrip hand. Opponent is mulliganed. Alright, sleight of hand, show me a burn spell. Nope, it shows me an Artist's Talent instead. Alright, they have turn 1 Monastery Swift Spear. Well, I have my Artist's Talent and Hired Claw. And Bolt Wave. So I'm just going to be taking a bunch of damage. And this is really not the time for the Pheonixes. Fortunately, I can just discard them. Alright, Lightning Axe is good. Lightning Axe helps a lot. Kill the Hired Claw, toss the second Pheonix. Treasure Cruise is going to be relevant shortly. Picklock Prankster is just too expensive. Another Lightning Axe is great. Screaming Nemesis. So that is going to deal me 3 and stop me from gaining life. Well, I'm gonna kill it anyway. I'm just gonna kill the Screaming Nemesis, take 3, and never gain life again. That's fine. 5. Oh, it's the amount of damage dealt to it. That's much worse. So now I'm at 5. Just need to... Alright, Fire Impulse, 3rd spell. Alright. I have 2 Pheonixes. And I think I attack with one of them and leave a blocker back. And then get Lightning Helixed, and they have the Ramanop Ruins and the Play with Fire. Yep. So as expected, like, the matchup is basically... It's basically unwinnable. Like, I've won it once or twice, but it's just so rough when, like, the best thing you can be doing is getting a 3-2 blocker into play. So yeah, I mean, even if I'd been able to point only 3 damage at the Screaming Nemesis, the Ramanop Ruins would have killed me. They had 2 spare points of damage. Alright, I think we throw back second Picklock Prankster. Alright, well, opponent is basic Swamp. Yep, it's red-black midrange again. It's always red-black midrange. I think I saw Metagame Breakdown and this was like a quarter. Something ridiculous. That's like a lot, you know? A quarter of a metagame is a lot of the metagame. Alright. They have Takanuma and an Unholy Annex. So they're going to be the ones taking damage from that for now. I think we pass. And plan on killing a creature or 2. If they want to play a Mutavault and fire it up, I would love to kill it. Nope, they're just going to play a Verge. And a Duress. Well, I'm going to consider... grab a second Treasure Cruise. And I think we Lightning Axe. The fear of missing out. So they can't take my Treasure Cruises because I have 2 of them. They can take my Picklock Prankster and try to slow down the Treasure Cruise, but nope, they're just going to take one of the Treasure Cruises. That's fine by me. And play a Fable. Yeah, as long as they're the ones taking damage from the Unholy Annex, it's somewhat reasonable. Alright, no Phoenixes in the yard, so this is safe to do. 6, 7. And I think we cycle the sleight of hand. If only this were a 2-color land, it would be so much better. So I could hold up Annul and Fiery Impulse. Instead I have to choose. I'm going to choose Annul, because it lets me also opt. So opponent is going to be Fabling. Alright, they got rid of a Fatal Push and a Blood Tithe Harvester. And they're going to swing for 2. Play a Blood Crypt untapped. And unlock the other room. Alright, if I can find... If I can find a thing for that, that would be great. Yes, Floodmaw is great. And Pheonix is great. Alright, so this is 1 spell for the turn. We get rid of their 6/6 that they spent their entire turn doing. And we put a Pheonix in. Alright, second spell for the turn. We free the Fae to gas up that graveyard. And throw back a Spirebluff Canal. And we get another Pheonix. And another Treasure Cruise. And then third spell for turn. I think we have to just Treasure Cruise. Just say, you are never going to outgrind us. And toss Sleight of Hand. Don't need it. Alright. And I think we pass here, hold up Spell Pierce, Fiery Impulse. 1 more Pheonix would be great, but I don't think it's necessary. Alright, they are cracking up black. I think by the same logic, a Fatal Push is fine. I just want them to be taking damage from their Unholy Annex this turn. That's my primary goal. So I'll take 2 here. And see what they want to try. They want to play Mutavault and fire up the Mutavault. I will kill the Mutavault if they fire it up. Alright, Fable of the Mirror Breaker is very annoying, but I have to let it go. So at some point, I'm going to need to deal with a Reflection of Kiki-Jiki. But that point is not right now. Opponent is playing slowly. We all know you're just going to fire up your Mutavault. No, they play another Unholy Annex. I'm fine with that, because I think it leaves them dead to my Phoenixes. So they're at 9 now. And I have a bunch of Phoenixes. So, consider... And I have a Spell Pierce to protect this. Discard a Pheonix. Throw an Odawara away. Opt. Second spell. Throw away Artist Talent. Grab Lightning Axe, I guess, is fine. And Island. Get rid of the Steam Vents. Grab Fiery Impulse. And go to combat and attack you for 9, and you have died. So that was a horrible mistake by my opponent to play that second Unholy Annex. They didn't know I had the third Pheonix. Yeah, they have the spell. They have the push. I have the Spell Pierce. And easy. Alright, so we got game 1. Bring in all of that. Bring in the Annul. Is Anger of the Gods good in this matchup? Yes, I would say so. They have Blood Tithe Harvesters in addition to Mutavaults and everything. So I guess I take out Spell Pierce. And I cut the Picklock Pranksters. And 2 Sleight of Hands. I need to work out specifically what I'm sideboarding for that matchup. It's super important. Like, it's it feels like it's most of the games I play is against Rakdos midrange of some kind. I should sit down and make sure I have good clean ins and outs for that. Alright, so opponent goes first. I have a tap land. Alright, this is good. I think we throw back Treasure Cruise on the logic that it is likely to get shut down somehow. So this won't be a turn where a null is relevant. I guess the fear of missing out. Alright, get Prophetic Memory into play. They can't easily deal with enchantments, so that should be safe. Alright, there's their Unholy Annex. Which I could just Flood Maw and counter it on the way back down, but I need to hit land drops. So I unfortunately have to cast this Opt. And brick and die. Lovely. Alright, so if I don't hit my third land on this coming turn, the game is over. Now I think I need to get rid of Sheoldred. Yeah, I don't know. Seems like I'm doomed anyway. Yeah, I can't beat a Sheoldred on 2 lands. I certainly can't beat Sheoldred plus Unholy Annex on 2 lands. We're going to concede and run it back. No need to show them Third Path Iconoclast. Alright, this hand is... it's fine. You don't want to mulligan against decks with discard spells. So we're just gonna rely on Third Path Iconoclast, do a bunch of lifting, and hope they're full of Unlicensed Terses and Grafdigger's Cages. Alright, there's the Thoughtseize. They're gonna take the Iconoclast. I'll play an island just to conceal that I drew a land for the little value that it matters. Alright, fear of missing out. So if I get like any spell, Fiery Impulse kills that. Nope, I didn't get any spell. So we're just gonna pass. And they're gonna attack me for 2, not a big deal. Alright, Blood Tithe Harvester. It's fine, I'll Fiery Impulse that. So that shock is probably for a Fatal Push or the Blood token, I guess. Makes sense. Alright, let's consider... We can consider into a Sleight of Hand. And we can Sleight of Hand into a Third Path Iconoclast. Not the direction that that's supposed to go. But we'll run it out and get Fatal Pushed. Torch the tower. Better there than on a Pheonix, I guess. Still annoying that it didn't go to the graveyard. So the good news is they're being super slow. I think we Lightning Axe the fear of missing out, pitching the Flood Maw, just purely to put 2 cards in my graveyard for 1 mana so that I can Treasure Cruise better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And draw 3 cards. Alright, well, 2 lands and a spell. A null is quite good to draw. But I'm going to need more than that, though. That's like brought me back into the game. I still need more to get ahead. Second Mutavault. I have to annul the Fable. It's just too much value. Alright. Artist Talent is a good pickup. It's not great at this exact moment. But hopefully it'll let me do something in the future. So they can fire up both Mutavaults and attack me for 4. Which is a lot. I don't like going to 10. Alright, well, I can hold up Lightning Axe. And full price Lightning Axe, discard the Steam Vents to cycle. Yep, you can fire up your 2 Mutavaults. I'm going to pay 5. Alright, cycle through that. Props Eidetic Memory. Hopefully that will steamroll me into winning the game. I'm not going to discard this Consider because the Consider is multiple looks. I will Consider, and I will discard the Artist's Talent. I just need to find like a creature. Alright, Prismari Command is, I think we hold Prismari Command to kill the Mutavault while we cycle. Fear of missing out, that's whatever. Fire up the Mutavault so I can kill it. Pass to attackers. Yes, alright. 2 damage to any target. And then I will draw 2, discard 2. Get a Spire Bluff Canal. Get another land anyway. Treasure Cruise 1000%. If the treasure cruise is good, I think we might win, like, immediately. Like, we have... If this treasure cruise hits good cards, they're going to be super, super far behind. And I have a lot of looks. I have 4 looks. A second treasure cruise. That's great. We're going to cast that. And try to find a creature that we can cast to turn all of this treasure cruising into killing my opponent. Alright, still no creatures. We're going to consider to keep looking for one. I think Opt can go. Shivnarif can go. I guess Sokenzan counts as a creature. So this is going to be the world's biggest Sokenzan token. Alright. They torch it. And again, I'm pretty happy with that going there instead of at a Pheonix. Speaking of, my god, 4 Pheonixes in the bottom 21 cards. Alright. They have Fatal Push for the other token. And another Fear of Missing Out, which I guess that is... I didn't consider that. So I'm going to 4 here. So I think we lead on Anger, just get rid of those Fear of Missing Outs. And please... I do actually need to hit a Pheonix at some point in order to win the game. Like, if the Pheonixes are the bottom 4 cards of my library, then I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Oh my god, what on earth? What is going on? I didn't cut them, did I? No? They were actually just, like, all in the bottom couple cards of my library. Well, we're going to do that. We're going to... Alright, the Pheonixes have arrived. We're just going to get them into the bin real quick. And the Crackling Drake was the literal bottom card. Did I... Uh-oh. Alright. Something weird happened there, but we got through it. We have 2 Pheonixes in play. Opponent has 1 card in hand. They are probably dead to Proph's Eidetic Memory next turn. Alright, their last card was a Fatal Push. I have no idea how... Oh, they got Revolt from my board wipe. Duress is fine. I actually need to, like, draw castable cards so that I can draw cards to... Yeah, I need to draw castable cards here. If not, I'm just going to be, like, attacking for 6. And this Duress is pretty bad. They could take the Arclight Pheonix and just hope I can't get it back. That's what I would... Oh, no, this is Duress, not Thoughtseize. Since this is Thoughtseize, I guess they take Lightning Axe because it kills Sheoldred, which is like their best out, I think. Yeah. Alright. Alright. Well, I have a plan, and it involves casting 3 spells. So first, we... Wait. Cancel. So we need to set a stop just to make sure nothing funny happens. so we cast Torch the Tower, resolve Artist Talent Trigger, put a Pheonix in the bin. Then we cast Fiery Impulse, second spell for the turn, Artist Talent Trigger, put a Flood Maw in the bin. And we didn't hit. There are 3 cards in our library. Alright, well, this is still fine. We still get a Pheonix with a couple counters on it. So we still have a 5/4 Pheonix, but I really needed to hit an Opt or like anything there. Another land. Alright, well, I'm going to hit you for 5 and hope you don't top deck a removal spell. I might have wanted to Otawar the Blood. Actually, that probably would have been better. I should have done that. It's too late now, though. Alright, so you have one more look at a removal spell. And it's a land, and we win these. Oh, what a game, what a game, what a game. Yeah, I had fun. That was a good match. Decisions mattered. I got a bit unlucky, but this is the thing with Pheonix, right? Is that with any other deck, if the cards your deck is named after are all in the bottom like third of your library, you just lose. Whereas with Pheonix, if the cards your deck is named after are all in the bottom third of your library, sometimes you get to the bottom third of your library. Like, it is super, super consistent over long games. You're pretty much always going to hit all of your cards. Same thing with sideboard cards, like, you bring in 1 or 2 Prismari commands to deal with an Unlicensed Earth. You're going to find your Prismari commands eventually. But yeah, I think I'm pretty tired right now. I think I'm going to end it there. Make sure to follow if you're enjoying the content. I play Satisfactory as well, so if you like that, I'll be doing that tomorrow. And then I'll be back to this the day after. I stream from 2 to 5 every weekday, and sometimes on weekends when I feel like it. So yeah.